Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Duality Podcast. I'll be Mr. Business. Mr. Social is out, a little R&R, but he's getting it together. And so here's where we are today. Also, this will be the season finale. We will return in August, take a month off so he can handle some issues, some business, personal things. I can handle some business, personal things. So we're going to take July and just focus on who we are as individuals, family, finances, things of that nature. We're going to do that. So, like I said, once again, this will be the final episode of season 2. Hope y'all had a good time with us. We want to thank y'all for the ride. And we're going to see y'all again in August. But today, let's see. I'm going to go with, and it's been on my mind the whole way here, mental health versus physical health. As you get older, you kind of pay more attention to the mental side of what's going on with you as you get older. Because things like, illnesses and personal things go on in your life, they affect you differently as you get older than they do when you're younger. Like, I'm a firm believer, you can bench 225 pounds 300 times. But the weight of depression, damn sure is heavier. The weight of trying to get your life back on track is a lot heavier. The weight on trying to save your family is a lot heavier. Hell, the weight on just trying to save yourself is a lot heavier. So I'm really encouraging people, put more stock in your mental health. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting don't work out, don't go to the gym, don't ride your bikes, don't do your walking. I'm not saying none of that. But what I'm saying is, you can look good on the outside, but if your inside is not right, if you're not centered, you're not healthy. I'm just going to call it what it is. You're not healthy. And I think to be healthy, it has to be more than just imagery. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to sleep at night. And a lot of people, while they sleep, they don't sleep good. Nightmares, things of that nature, because they battling something. And you can't smile away everything. You can't photograph it away everything. You have to understand that you have to deal with yourself in a whole new different way when the bottom has just disappeared from you. You have to learn to deal with yourself differently. And I'm realizing as I get older, it's not easy. It's not easy. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier for me, personally, to put an event together than it is for me to get my shit together. Like I said, I'm just going to be real today. You know what I mean? Last show, I'm going to be real with it today. On this show, we talk about a lot of things. political stuff, what it is to be black. We had a lot of great guests on this show. You know what I mean? We touched on a lot of things. But we never really touched on deep enough to me, like mental health. And it wasn't that we didn't want to. Just sometimes conversation goes in different places. But like I said, I'm encouraging people to just get more involved with your mental health. And also, when you do that, certain things become less important, become less significant. It becomes more, certain things you start realizing are a hindrance to your growth mentally. Like, I'll tell you, the average person that said they unbothered is bothered in the motherfucker. Let's be clear. Okay? Those are mechanisms that they use to just hide a painful thing for them. And it gets to a point where it's okay to be silent sometimes. It's okay. Like, you don't have to address everything. Some things you can just walk it off. Some things it's not worth the mental damage that it does for you to get mad, to get upset, and, feel as though you have to get even. And like I said, I can say these things because they were part of me at some point that I was vindictive enough that whatever you did, even if it cost me everything, I needed you to feel that same situation. Matter of fact, I wanted to do it worse. That was a mentality I had. Like, but I realized, man, you know how toxic that shit is? You realize how much energy you just use and waste trying to get even? Like, on some ego shit, and, it ain't worth it. That was the first signs of, for me personally, that, bruh, you need to get your mind right. Because the time you spending doing this kind of shit, there's some other positive shit that you can do that's way more beneficial to your life than this. And granted, it's trial and error. The goal is to at least try. At least try. And I firmly believe that if you put forth effort, you can find your center. You can truly find what your version of happiness is. Because it ain't for nobody else to determine it. And that's another problem, especially when you're dealing with mental situations, when you're so busy trying to please the fan. It's not worth it at the end of the day. See, I can post something and I can get the exact feeling I want from enough people. But at the end of the day, it didn't serve me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't gain nothing from it. Plus, my problem is, well, not a problem, but for me, I'm too private of a person. And I'm unapologetic about that. you know. So that's another thing. Like, stop feeling as though you have to have everybody involved in your life because you don't. You know. Now, granted, I'm not saying you can't share because I share things. We all share things. But don't ever feel as though you have to. You know, so leave you with that right there. But I'm encouraging everybody to just mentally find your center, find your happy place, and don't be afraid to rock alone sometimes. It's not a requirement that you need a circus with you. It's not a requirement. It's okay to rock alone sometimes. Because the one thing I've learned in the sense where everybody there to pop champagne, but ain't nobody there to pour water. And when you realize that, you realize who's who, what's what, and you just make adjustments in your life. And I think the older you get, and when I mean the older you get, I'm not even saying age-wise. I'm just saying life-wise. The older you get, the more things you see, the more things you go through. It's going to change your perception of individuals. It's going to change your perception of you. Because sometimes the same individual, when you was in a 20-year-old space, in a 30-year-old space, you realize, nah, you kind of like a bad penny now. You're dead weight to where I'm trying to go. And it's all right. You know, everybody can't go on your journey. And that's okay too. So it's not a problem that you don't lose the friendship, because if you're good, you're forever good. But that don't mean they got to travel with you. Which is another mental situation. Like, at a certain point, we kind of feel as though at a certain point in our lives, you know, it's almost like No Child Left Behind type situation. We feel as though we got to bring everybody with us, and you really don't. You don't have to bring everybody with you. You don't have to try to take care of everybody. But you take care of the ones that you're supposed to. But you're not required to take care of everybody. Don't put that pressure on yourself. So it's fine to just, like I said, it's okay to be by yourself sometimes. It's okay to be like, we good, but I need this right here. You know, I need this little space right here just for me. It's okay. Because you're working on your mental capacity to keep moving forward. And like, case in point, like Friday in Elizabeth, some guy felt as though his life was so bad that he actually jumped in the river. Like, this ain't something you make up. Like, this is something that really happened. Some people mentally are so depressed that they do things like this. That death was better than going another day feeling like you're worthless. You know, suicide, the numbers don't go down at all. They just keep, like, they know how to not mention it. But depression in children has grown. Bullying has grown. And even in bullying is mental. That's also, it is not even about physical. It's about mental. It's about you having a power over somebody else. It's mental. Because there's something going on in that person's life where they don't have no power. So they find somebody they got power over and just push it to the limit. Like, there's a lot of different areas of mental health that I think as people, as a society, even as a culture, we don't address enough. Like, case in point, there's more people in the gym than they are at a therapist. It's not even disputable. More people would join a gym than sit down with a therapist. Because it's easier to take your frustrations and pain and anger out on metal than it is to actually have a conversation and expose what's going on with you. Now, granted, I think therapy personally is a gift and a curse. I think it's a beautiful thing for you to finally get out what you've been holding. But sometimes people come out of therapy sessions feeling as though they can walk on water and, and treat people a certain way. I don't think therapy was meant for that. Like, for you to overcome something, that's the goal. But for you to treat people a certain way just because you overcame something, now you look down on people or you talk reckless towards people. No, I don't think the therapy session was meant for that. It's almost like people that, I always say, like people that who on Saturday was drinking, Sunday they got saved in church, so now Monday they trying to read you all your faults. I'm like, you just 24 hours removed from that situation. Like, really? That's what we doing? So even in those things, it's mental. Even in those situations. Like, how you save Sunday, then come Monday, you're going to tell me about me when you still don't know about you. Like, how you come from a therapy session at 6:00, then come 6:30, you trying to have a therapy session with somebody else. No, it doesn't work that way. It's mental. And it's so many things that's wrapped up in the mentality. Even when you talk about you think about the Juneteenth holiday, okay? Mentality-wise, people still wasn't happy of that situation. Was it a cure-all? Hell no. Everybody knows that. But damn, the civil rights movement was called the movement for a reason. It wasn't an overnight thing. But it's okay to be happy for that thing. People wasn't even happy for that thing. Oh, they gave us a holiday, but they wouldn't give us. I'm like, there's a starting point for everything. But it's a mentality. George Floyd, Derek Chauvin got 22.5, eligible parole in 15. Oh, he should have got 50 to life. He should have got this. He should have got that. Granted, this might be one of the, I ain't gonna say the first, but this is one of the ones that didn't get away at all. Is it the time you wanted? No. But let's not pretend like everybody can do 15 years. My thing was, he didn't go home. He didn't get a commuted sentence. He didn't get none of those things. Like, he's really going to prison. But the mentality of us as a culture at a certain point, we're never fucking happy. You know what I'm saying? It's just still mental. Like, oh, we got a holiday, but we didn't get reparations. I'm like, really? Come on, man. There's certain things that I will say confidently in my lifetime, reparations will never happen. And I feel as though in my lifetime. And to me, I'd rather have the equality more than the money at this point. Maybe in time as things change, and things are always evolving. Sometimes things go back a little bit, but I take a little victory and I'll embrace it better than loss after loss after loss, because I know it has to be a starting point for something. Just to be honest, don't you think too many people have died for Juneteenth to be a holiday? Like, I guess I looked at it and I was like, okay, at least the ancestors might be happy. But once again, it's mental. It's all about the mental capacity of self. So again, I encourage everybody, like, just mentally find your center. And I think once you do that, life looks different. you know. And I'm a firm believer too, in that process, you have to learn to love yourself in this process. But let me be clear about that though, because see, there's a gray area there. Loving yourself does not mean you have to destroy someone else. Let's be clear with that too. Okay? Because see, there's a misconception that, oh, love you first. And I'm like, that's fine. And that's cool too. But there's a part in there that if you truly love yourself, you're not out to hurt anybody else. It never said love yourself at all costs. That's a bunch of bullshit. Like, per se, like, I love myself enough that I never put me first. I love myself enough that I'm like, my joy is to see you win. Like, me loving myself don't mean, Oh, fuck you. Nah, you sit over there. Nah. Because it's about me now. No. Like, I think there's a difference between loving yourself and being selfish. It's a difference. But once again, it's the mentality. Because you can love yourself to know you have boundaries. And boundaries does not equate to hurt. You know, like narcissists, they love themselves too. Let's be clear. They love themselves to the point where it's never their fault. Never. It's always somebody else did some shit. So to really love yourself, some self-love, real love, own your bullshit too. Own it. You ain't got to own it for everybody else, but own it for yourself, because remember, it's self-love. Because a lot of things that come with self-love is a lot of self-inflicted wounds. It's not too many things I've ever found that's really positive connected to the word self, to be honest. You know, there are some positive things, but I guess, like I said, I'm always thinking from a dark place. That's a mental thing. I'm always thinking from a dark place. Selfish, self-inflicted, you know, self-indulgence. You know, I think of those things when I think of the word self. I don't really think of a lot of things positive when I think of self. That's why I always say, even the word self-love to me is just a little bit toxic. Because there's a lot of people who have a self-love mentality that has hurt people. And their mentality was better them than me. You know, I chose me. And it's weird to me because the same people, on average, that has the self-love and I chose me, we're getting a complete meltdown when a person decides to do the same thing. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. You got to be very careful with how you maneuver that. Because it can't be good on the right hand but bad on the left. Because if self works over here, then don't get mad if the next person choose self too. Like, I don't care what the situation is, but if two people chose self, there's never going to be a collective situation happening. Never. It's never going to happen. Because they both only worrying about them. Where's the lie? You can't be collective and self. You can't, no, it just doesn't work that way. And you can't get mad when somebody like, I chose me. Because a lot of times when you hear that story, you hear things like, oh, this person was just selfish. They did this and they did that. All they cared about was themselves. But when you rewind the tape, you start realizing, wait a minute. All I did was follow the doctrine that was spoken. See, everybody ain't going to just sit around and just keep eating. You only can eat but so much before you start throwing it up. Everybody doesn't have the mentality of always wanting to be the bigger person. So there's a lot of things that can happen when the word self is introduced in anything. But once again, mentality, mental. So I'm just like I said, you just have to get to a place where you got to understand, like, there are traps in everything. There's always a fucking trap in everything. But there's also an exit in everything. You know, all exit, now again, like I said, somebody jumped off the pier. That was their exit. I'm just hoping everybody don't choose that as their exit. Because I think when you get to that point, there was nobody you can talk to. When you get to that point, you stop believing that life can get better for you when you get to that point. And there was a meme that actually said it too. People don't talk about depression and things that go on with mental health because they're afraid people are going to judge them or put their business in the street. And 9 times out of 10, that's the fucking truth. Like, you got to be realistic and realizing everybody ain't hearing your story because they care about you. Okay? Some people, yes. But you got some people that want to hear your story so they can either gossip about your story or find out how your story benefits them. And you'll know at some point how it started unraveling. Because, see, as long as you're in a certain space and clarity is not on hand at that point, you're going to have some people that's going to be like glued to you. But now, once you get out of the darkness and you try to better yourself mentally, you're going to start seeing people fall off too, because they're going to feel like, I can't benefit from this person no more. You know, I was doing good as long as they was doing bad. It's the ugly truth. And then you hear people say shit like, oh, you've changed. When in reality, okay. But you shouldn't be mad. If that happened, you shouldn't be mad. You should be like, I'm glad. I'm really glad that you did. Like, it's not a bad thing. I really appreciate the fact that you finally got out of what kept you down. That's what you want to hear. But a lot of times, that ain't the conversation. That's why you got to know who your peoples are. Like, for real, who your peoples are. See, my peoples, I'll be honest, my peoples are more like fire extinguishers than they are lighter fluid. So that we clear. They will put my ass out before they sit there and let me burn uncontrollably in whatever it is that started the fire in me. They know how to put me out. And they would truly and literally sit with me until you can't even see the smoke no more. Not the people that gaslight you and oh my God, yeah, you do it, yeah, yeah. If I was you, and like no, like I said, those aren't my peoples. My peoples don't agree with everything I say, and like I said, they know when to easily, and I'm thankful for my circle. I really am, but I'm also understand everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't have that circle that'll let them know, hey, you slipping a little bit. Hey, you leaning too far to the left on this one. Hey, it ain't always about you. Hey, you don't have to always say what's on your mind. Hey, it's okay to walk in your purpose quietly. You know what I'm saying? Like my peoples, they do that for me. People don't do that. And granted, at the end of the day, my peoples know me. They know one, I'm not out trying to encourage nobody. If I do, awesome. If I don't, that's fine too. A lot of shit that I say is because I'm just trying to clear my shit. If you resonate with it, cool. If it doesn't if it doesn't resonate with you, that's cool too. It was more about me. At the end of the day, it was about me. So I'm not trying to, you know, get your day started with some high enlightenment. Now, I could be the first one to say it, and that's what this show is for. I'll be the first one to say it. Now, my cousin, Mr. Social, yeah, every morning, because that's his spirit. That's his aura. That's what makes him him. That he will give a word in the morning. And it was for somebody, or maybe it could have been he was just releasing what was on his mind too, and it manifested in other people. That's fine. And that's his always been his gift. That's why he was always Mr. Social. Sociable. He knew how to get in certain spaces. I am a jokester, but it's if I know you. So if I don't know you, I ain't trying to break my neck to find out who you are neither. That's just not my thing. People always thinking, I'm standoffish, to a certain extent, which is true. Because my mentality says I need people to do business with. I got enough people in my life to do life shit with. That's why, on average, my brothers, because I don't have friends, my brothers, we all 30 years or better. See what I'm saying? Like, longevity has its place. And I know I ain't the type that I know I'm looking at you. I know right away we'll never be the two that hang out together. So I ain't about to pretend that we about to do this hangout shit. No. Now we can do business together, then that's fine. But if standoffish is how you perceive me, I'm good with that. I'm just trying to protect my space. Because the way my mentality is set up, shit, you're lucky you even saw me. I don't go out, period, really. unless it's business, some type of family gathering. But for the most part, you don't see me. Because I'm too busy working on me. I don't need to work on me in the crowd. Like over the years, I can easily say over the years, I have grown mentally over the years. You know, where I'm less vindictive, I'm less petty. You know, my toxic level done dropped to about 15%. You know what I mean? I still have thoughts though, you know what I mean? I just don't do shit. But you know, it dropped about 15%. But it's called I had to check myself and hold myself accountable for the things I've done. Hold myself accountable even for the people I pretty much probably hurt along the way. Accountability. That's self-love too. Accountability. I know the things I've done. I know the people I lift up. I know the people I let down. I know the people I've left suspended in midair. Still wondering, if they're going to come down. So, I know what I've done. I know what I'm accountable for. But I had to get myself in a mental place to understand that, damn, this person didn't deserve that. Or damn, this person came off good, because once I realized some shit, I should have went harder. But when you're trying to do better, you start realizing it ain't worth it, to be honest. You know what? Take your part and give and keep it going. But I had to get to a place mentally to understand those things. Now, I'm still a work in progress. Hell, everybody is still a work in progress. But you can't keep doing the same bullshit and expecting to get a different result. You can't keep blaming everybody else and expecting a different result. Be held accountable for your mental space. Hold your own self accountable and be like, I shouldn't have did that. Because until you start doing those things, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over with just a different face attached to it. That's just the ugly truth. Because if I did something 10 times and 10 times it doesn't work, guess what? I'm the common denominator. I'm the reason. It wasn't the 10 times. It's because I probably did the same shit 10 times. Didn't change anything. Didn't make no adjustments. But I was expecting a different outcome. That's on me. That's why I got 10 failures. Accountability. I'm the key. And as a person, you're the key to your own mental health. Because even a therapist can't do nothing for you unless you are transparent. Just like people go to rehab. Rehab does you no good unless you're really ready to recover. People go to jail habitually, which happens because you're still not ready to move on from the life that you have grown accustomed to. regardless if the same results equals jail. But you're going to keep doing it until it hits different. You know, people go in and out of rehab 10, 12 times until they hit a brick that wakes them up mentally and they realize, I can't keep doing this. There got to be another way. Truly have to be another way. And once they find the other way, they never look back again. See, these are the people that's, 10 years anniversary, 15 anniversary, hell, 5-year anniversary. Hell, I don't give a damn, it's a 1-year anniversary. But these are the people that made the decision that mentally, I need to be stronger than my desires. I need to be strong enough to not use every little thing as an excuse to get high. When dealing with people, I have to be mentally strong enough that I can shake hands with my enemy for the greater good of what we're trying to do. See, I don't have to personally like you for it to be good business. Like, I know how to separate the two. But mentally, you have to get yourself to a place where you can do certain things that's different than the things that kept getting you the negative results. See, I'm a firm believer. I don't need nobody to clap for me. I don't. July 25th, 2020. I lost the last true, without question, that even on her roughest days, she made sure to let me know, I'm with you now. Physically, I'll be with you later spiritually. But I'm the one person from your entrance into this world to your exit into this world, from this world, forever connected. See, I can speak about a lot of different things, but everything ain't for everybody. But I know who wears the crown in this life and in the next, who wore the crown for me. But like I said, we all got our cross to bear. And I can be the first to say, yeah, I still deal with that internally every day. Some days going to be easier than others. Some days are. Some days is rough as shit. Because I know what used to be my crutch. Like, this probably really one of the first years that I had to actually deal with shit. I had to actually own shit, actually be accountable for things. I couldn't push it to the side and put my energies other places. Like, this the first year I really had to really take a look at some things. I really had to be honest about some things. Not with nobody else, but with me. It's been an eye-opener of a year. Some revelations I'm happy about. Some revelations I'm mad at myself about. See, that's the thing. Throughout my mental health journey, I had to learn to not blame anybody but me. Because no matter what goes on in my life, I personally put myself in that position. Nobody forced it on me. I put myself there. Personally, professionally, doesn't matter. I put myself there. So if it's good, it's on me, but guess what? If it's bad, it's on me too. That's the greatest thing that ever happened when I learned that I'm accountable for me. For better or for worse, I'm accountable for me. And because of that, I look at things differently than I used to look at things. I approach things differently than I used to. My purpose is different. My outlook on things is different. For argument's sake, a person I might thought was a dime 2 years ago, I look at that same person as a throwaway tonight. See, my first vision was from a place of I was just doing too much. I was all over the place. I wasn't focused. I wasn't, you name it, I wasn't. This year, focus. This year is about my health, physically, mentally. This year is about holding myself accountable. This year is about not putting myself in certain positions that I used to put myself in. Now you can look at a person and look at them like, now I see you. Before I saw a perception of you. And this now, let's be clear. I'm talking, like I said, I use a female in that particular example, but even in general. Even dudes, I look at them different now. Like, yeah, a couple of years ago when shit, I'm not going to do business with you. This year I'm realizing I really can't do business with you because you still don't know how to do business yourself. Like then I didn't realize, say for instance, certain people, they needed help to do business. So why would I do business with somebody that need help when I might as well just hire the help? Cut you right the fuck out of it. That's the difference in visions. That's the difference in when your mentality change. You start seeing people differently. You look in the mirror at yourself differently too when your mentality change. Like there was literally a time I could say to myself all the time, like, bruh, your face show the pain. You can smile in the mirror, you can smile on a pic, but bruh, look deep, look right into this mirror the way you supposed to. The smile wasn't there because I looked past the first layer of myself. Sometimes that mirror, it'll make you feel good. then sometimes that mirror reveals the ugly truth. I'm going to explain why a lot of people don't look in that mirror unless they're dressed. You got more people look in the mirror after they put their clothes on than they do with their clothes off. You know, they look in the mirror after they shave, not before they shave. They look in the mirror after the makeup is truly applied. Now, granted, they might need a little mirror, but they ain't looking at that big mirror till after it's fully applied. I think on average, they ain't truly happy with what they see without the facade. So they got to wait to look like that person that everybody likes instead of waking up, looking in the mirror, and trying to find the person that they like. So as we come to an end, all I want to say is to you people, I want to thank y'all for riding with us. We're not done. Like I said, we're just going to take the month of July off to handle some things individually, collectively, you know, physical health, mental health. We're going to do those things. But we will be back in August, sharp, ready to tackle society again, ready to get back on our duality perspective of things. But as for now, I'm encouraging you all, concentrate on your mental health first, your physical health second, and your financial health third. Because I've seen a lot of rich people, you read it, you hear about it, they have the money and they still kill themselves. It's the ugly truth. Mental health, physical health, financial health, in that order. Because once you get your mind right, the body will react. The money will come. You know, it's the old proverb, you know, if you kill the head, the body will fall. Mental health, then physical health, then financial. So on Mr. Business, I want to thank y'all for rocking with us. See y'all back in August. Y'all take care. Peace.